over for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as Meghan pursues her Hollywood dreams. Is she leaving her husband behind? Hello everyone, welcome to Royal News Network. My name is Brittany, and today we are talking about the news that broke late last night that Meghan Markle has signed with William Morris Endeavor, a huge talent agency in Hollywood, one that would have never signed her as Rachel from Suits, but with a title of the Duchess of Sussex, with a middling, probably failing production company, and a lot of half-baked adventures, Meghan Markle has managed to get William Morris Endeavor to sign on to brand Meghan. But what about Harry in this scenario? He just wasn't even really mentioned in this press announcement. And for a couple who claimed at one point that they are like salt and pepper, why wouldn't they have been signed together? What is going on behind the scenes? And is this one of the biggest indicators that the brand of Meghan and the brand of Harry are going in two completely different directions, and that perhaps a divorce or separation is soon to be in their future? So we will discuss that today. But if you guys haven't been here to Royal News Network before, like I said, my name is Brittany, and on this channel I provide compelling royal commentary about the latest news, and sometimes a little bit of gossip too. In addition, I will be reviewing television shows and movies and sharing a bit about history as well. So if you guys want to subscribe, I would love to have you back. I will also be going to the coronation next week. Yes, it's a couple of days away. I can't believe I'll be on a plane going to the coronation and trying to manage all that stuff. It's going to be so exciting. I can't wait to get there and hopefully get a fantastic spot to observe all the festivities. I really hope I don't have to camp out there. Really hoping that doesn't come to pass, but I'm really hoping to be there on the Royal Mile. That is my goal, and get up to as close to the balcony when they make their appearance as possible. It's going to be an amazing moment. I was there for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee and it was incredible. I can't wait to get there for the coronation as well. So if you guys want to see all my behind the scenes coverage, how I'm trying to get there, how long it takes, and I actually plan to do a video this time of me running down the mile a bit, trying to make sure I'm in one of the first groups to get there. So what they do is they actually pull people from the back first and go in for the mile. At least that's what I observed with the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So that is what I will be doing, and hopefully getting to the front. Sometimes you have to kind of weave your way in and out and go, excuse me, lots and lots. So it'll be a lot of fun. And also, speaking of television shows and movies, so two things. There is an interview coming up with the Meghan Markle clan. So this is Thomas, Samantha, and Thomas Jr. that's going to be airing in Australia, which I'm sure Meghan does not want. And we also have a coronation special for the Windsors. If you've never seen it, it's a satire of the Windsors. It is rated TVMA, just to let you know, but it's mostly for language. And it's just pretty funny. Not everything is perfect, and some of the choices I'm like, why did you make that choice? But it actually is quite good, and most of those actors and actresses are better than Meghan Markle. And before we get into Meghan failing upwards, we do have Catherine and William in Aberfan, that is in Wales. They had a huge disaster there in 1966 when a coal mine sort of pseudo collapsed, and they had a school that was impacted, and so they lost 166 other citizens, most of them children. And so Catherine and William went to the memorial and spoke with fans, and one of the great moments is when little Daniel decided that he really liked Catherine's clutch. And so he just took that thing and he just went to town, and he just clutched it, and his mom kept desperately trying to get it out of his hands, and he was just like, no, this is mine. I want the princess's bag. This is my bag now. So apparently Catherine told her, she has young ones as well, though they are not quite that young anymore. And she's like, you know what, I'll just leave that with you and I'll come back for it. And so I think the mom was both mortified, relieved, thought it was really funny. And this is one thing that this kid, for the rest of his life, will hear about this story. I have absolutely no doubt, from the time he's in elementary school to high school, that video of him stealing the Princess of Wales's handbag will be played ad nauseum for the rest of his life. But I think that is so adorable. I just love it. And it's just so great to see Catherine and William out in Wales, especially we're like a week before the coronation, guys. It's getting so close. It really is. And of course, can never let the royal family have their moment in the spotlight. Harry and Meghan, of course, have to blast them and try to steal the limelight. Meghan has been so quiet for the last several weeks that we've just gotten a ton from the Lakers game, and now this William Morris Endeavor announcement. And I wonder if part of now the celebration that they had at the Lakers game, which I categorize, at least because their whole Archwell team was there, as a business team building exercise. Now it might have been just a celebration of the fact that Meghan had made this deal with William Morris and Endeavor. And oh no, maybe, just maybe, some of those people might find themselves out of a job in the near future. I would imagine that could be a distinct possibility, because not only is Meghan as a talent being represented by this firm, but basically all of her and Harry's operations are now under this umbrella. So let me read you the announcement from Variety. It says, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has signed for representation with WME. Variety can report exclusively. So Variety did that cover story of her last year. The signing represents a crown jewel for WME, one might say, as long as her title holds, guys. Don't get too far ahead of yourselves. As numerous agency rivals has tried to land the public figure formerly known as Meghan Markle, she's still legally Meghan Markle, guys. She's still Meghan Markle. Since she and her husband, Prince Harry, moved to California in 2020. Yes, so that's probably to a certain extent true. Hollywood people like to make money. And Harry and Meghan, to a certain extent, I think they make somewhat other people money. Do they make themselves all that much money? I don't know. But they do generate controversy. They do generate clicks. Now, will this be a super successful endeavor for William Morris and Endeavor? I'm not sure. However, this idea that she's not known as Meghan Markle is ridiculous. She's still Meghan Markle, and the Duchess of Sussex title is something that's probably going to be temporary to her, honestly. And so this idea that they're staking all their claim on the Duchess of Sussex title shows that they have no idea what's really going on behind the scenes. And once again, it feels like Harry and Meghan have perhaps sold them a bag of goods that they can't fulfill, because it might be entirely possible that the UK government at some point will take the titles from Harry and Meghan because they're misrepresenting themselves as members of the British royal family on the international stage. Yes, they are family members, but they are not working members, and they're conflating the two. And I think for all of these big organizations, they sign on to the fact that, hey, we might have this connection to the monarchy. But if that connection to the monarchy is no longer valid, if she's just Meghan Markle again, well, you guys wouldn't sign her when she was just Meghan Markle. So what will you do if she's no longer the Duchess of Sussex and is just Meghan Markle again? And just as a reminder, a title does not infuse you with any sort of talent, which she still did not have as an actress. I'm sorry to say, not trying to be mean, but she was not a talented actress. There's a reason why her only role was on Suits. And I was talking with somebody yesterday on Twitter. I haven't seen Suits yet. I want to do like a review on it. I've seen one scene of hers in it. Could not stand her character. It was like her first scene, and she was showing one of the main guys around the office, and she's going, oh, well, don't fall in love with me. And I'd be like, well, no problem there, sweetheart. You just kind of come across as obnoxious when you do that. I mean, that was part of the script, I'm sure, but like that's what they were basing her character on. And also, I think Meghan can really only act herself. She can only do an exaggerated version of herself. So really, that was her. And somebody said, again, on Twitter, that basically her role could have been played by anybody. It was not hard. It wasn't that interesting. It could have been played by any actress. So again, this idea that you get the sense that WME is putting all their eggs in the royal basket, but those royal titles are temporary, and just because she has a title does not mean she has any talent. It did not give her magical talent that she did not have when you would refuse to sign her 5 or 6 years ago. Her team at WME will include Power Agent turned Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel. So this is actually the brother of Rahm Emanuel, who was the former mayor of Chicago and was formerly Barack Obama's chief of staff. Brad Slatzer, and rep and brand architect within the agency for Dwayne Johnson, and longtime Serena Williams agent Jill Smoller. Additionally, WME will assume representation of Archwell, her and Prince Harry's content creation label. Film and television production, brand partnerships, and overall business building will be explored. Acting will not be an area of focus. I don't believe that for a hot second. I do not believe acting will never be a focus for Meghan Markle again. She has always wanted to be seen as a serious actress. But again, she didn't really put in the time to cultivate the talent that she needed because everybody's a bit raw. And according to Tom Bower's book, one of her theater professors did tell her, hey, if you want to be good at this, you need to get good at theater. You need to be in this space and you can hone your craft. But Meghan Markle didn't want to do that. Meghan has always looked for the easy way out. Meghan Markle is a product of Sunshine Sachs. What I mean by that is she paid them, I think, most of her salary to endlessly promote her. She didn't cultivate any talent. She didn't try to infuse herself by trying to do new things like script writing, directing, producing, anything like that. No. She wanted her PR agency to do all the heavy lifting for her. That's why I believe she didn't actually probably have as much money as she claimed to when she married Harry, because I think the vast majority of her money went to Sunshine Sachs to just promote her up the wazoo, because she didn't have the talent to back up anything else. So she had to have her PR agency do it all for her, and then she could reap the glory of it. And then granted, to a certain extent, that is their job. I don't fault them for that. But I think Meghan Markle is a manufacturer. There just wasn't a lot of talent there in terms of acting, producing, directing, anything like that to begin with. And then you have this sign that apparently, it sounds like to a certain extent, Archewell will be represented in a PR way by WME, but also it sounds like most of their operations will now fall under the umbrella of WME. This means a lot of things. Number one, Harry and Meghan are not going to get as much money on the back end of deals because they now have to pay some money to WME to get things done, because they can't do it. That's what it symbolizes to me. Meghan Markle did this vapid, I love rom-coms, don't we? There should be more rom-coms. That was her pitch in Variety. And then they announced later that they were getting more people to do scripted content for their team. But it's like, but could she actually do a rom-com? Is this a woman who can actually put into production, create a story, and make a rom-com? This screams to me, no, she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. And Harry's not that bright either. So you have two people together. One who barely graduated high school. Another one went to a very good school, and I would assume is reasonably intelligent. And yet at the same time, I don't think she's a creative. I don't think she's somebody who just thinks of different things and comes up with creative ideas and innovative theories and thoughts and those sorts of things. She's just not one of those people. It's interesting if you watch something like Vogue and they have some artists describe their outfits and everything. You have Blake Lively do it. Now, Blake Lively, I don't think is necessarily a fabulous actress, but listening to her talk about fashion, you can see that creativeness, that she really has an eye for style and how to put things together. She would have made an amazing stylist. She's an amazing stylist for herself, and if she ever needs to fall back on, I think she can do that. But it was just amazing to see that thought process of creativeness, of how because one of the outfits I'll hopefully see next week is the one she wore to the Met Gala recently, and she was the force behind a lot of that. And so she describes that, blocks those things out. We've never really seen Meghan exemplify and show us her creative side in that same way. I just find it super interesting. Even if I don't necessarily like the person, like I can appreciate the artisanship, the artistic thought process that went into X, Y, and Z, because they had to think through something complex and different. Meghan Markle has never been that person. I don't think Harry has been that person either. So they have Archewell, and I think they're stuck because they did the thing that was always going to make them money, which is rat on the royal family. Well, now they actually have to do something. They have to actually create something new, unique, and different. Not necessarily, but they have to be able to create content, and I don't think they could do it. And so they had to rely on WME to get it done. And again, that's going to lose them money in the long run because they won't get the full effects of the deal, because they'll have to pay all these other people they're paying to do the jobs that they couldn't do. Now, granted, that is some of production, sure, but I think that the best producers, the producers that create the best content, are creatives, and they can manage that process in a unique and interesting way. And Harry and Meghan, again, they just can never do that. So they need a WME in this instance to help them get over the hurdle of their own lack of creativity. It goes on to say the relationship signifies that Meghan is looking to zero in on her enterprise efforts. Her lifelong advocacy for women, mothers, and girls will remain a thread in her professional work. In her Variety cover story last year, she discussed her ambitions around Archewell original content. She and Harry are currently engaged in a deal with Netflix. And it says, thus far, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have produced 2 docuseries with Netflix, including Harry and Meghan. The other one they can't name because nobody's thinking watch that thing. Nobody watched it. It was like Live to Lead or something. Nobody watched that. That series represented the most streamed documentary premiere in Netflix history, with 85.1 million minutes watched in its first week. Meghan is a global icon, topping lists such as Times Magazine's most influential people, the Financial Times 25 most influential women, Variety Power of Women, and British Vogue's Vogue 25. Well, isn't that just blowing smoke up the behind of Meghan Markle right there? Those are not achievements that I would go, oh, wow, she's done so much. And I'm like, oh, she paid for the vast majority of that. And you really believe that that's impressive, WME? Ooh. Have you seen her reel? Have you watched Suits all the way through? Like, I thought you guys had a pretty good eye for talent. So here are some of the people that they represent. And it's a pretty impressive list. Meghan Markle is not one of those people, but here's the impressive list. Includes Amy Adams, Ben Affleck, Casey Affleck, Jessica Alba, Kevin Bacon, Christian Bale, Javier Bardem, Sacha Baron Cohen, Paul Bettany, Helena Bonham Carter, Michael Douglas, Jenna Fisher, Ricky Gervais, Jack Black, Steve Carell, Matt Damon, Robert De Niro, Hugh Jackman, Diane Keaton, Keira Knightley, Ewan McGregor, Sienna Miller, Viggo Mortensen, Edward Norton, Chris O'Donnell, Ellen Page, Ryan Phillippe, Adam Sandler, Jason Segel, Charlie Sheen, Patrick Stewart, Barbara Streisand, Tilda Swinton, Carl Urban, Mark Wahlberg, Ken Watanabe, and Rachel Weisz. Those are film. We obviously have like a ton of TV. I mean, it's crazy how many people they represent. And Meghan Markle definitely is not impressive compared to that list. Her sole achievement is marrying into the British royal family. That is her sole achievement. It's to get a guy who barely graduated high school, who was desperate for a wife, to marry her. That is her sole achievement. So does she belong on the William Morris Endeavor list? No. Will they try to make money off her? Of course. But here's the key thing. Where is Harry in this scenario? Where's Harry? What happened to their salt and pepper? I thought they were salt and pepper, that they're always together. They have matching chairs. They share an office. They have a throne room, basically. And that they're always together. And they need each other all the time. And so why isn't Harry included in this deal? Harry, like, it should be Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are included in this deal. Where's Harry in this scenario? Now, granted, they might release it sometime later, but why not now? Because clearly it's all about building Meghan's brand. In that press release, it was all about her. It was all about her brand, all about building up Meghan Markle, making her the star she could never be because she didn't have enough talent, and you have to manufacture it because that's the only way to do it. So, to me, this screams is that they are already in the process of separating their lives. They're already in the process. Meghan is brand building on her own. She doesn't need Harry anymore, or she doesn't want him, one of the two. So what she's doing is she's signing on to this big agency and starting to leave Harry behind. That's what that screams. Their Archewell productions, all their Archewell efforts now follow under WME. It's no longer Harry and Meghan's thing. It is William Morris Endeavor. Harry is no longer a significant portion of that equation. He has been basically cut out. He's basically been cut out of this. Granted, perhaps there'll be a later announcement about something, but it just seems like what we've seen since the book Spare has come out is that Meghan is very much separating herself from her husband. Yes, they are still seen together. Yes, they still go to events together, but it feels very manufactured because everything around them has always been very manufactured because Meghan is an actress and she's a bad actress on top of that. So they have to manufacture this dynamic, and it just doesn't ever come across well. And you can now understand why he may have been a bit glowering and grumpy at the Lakers game in some pictures, because he's thinking, well, my wife has this great deal, which is, I guess, good for us, but where does that leave me? He's a man who gave up everything to please her. Everything, his life, his country, his heritage, his destiny as the Spare, a significant role. He might have been the one who played the ceremonial guard on the way back from the coronation for King Charles. Instead, it's Princess Anne. Now, when it comes to William's coronation, guess what? Harry, again, might not have any role, and he would have been at that point probably leading William's carriage back as he becomes king. Harry is no longer on the balcony. He has given up every aspect of his life. And now when push comes to shove, when their business, I think, is failing behind the scenes, she cuts him out. She cuts him out, even though they were never qualified to do what they were trying to do in the first place. He's been cut out. And that has got to be so unbelievably hard. I do feel for Harry in that instance. Yes, do I think he's a whining, petulant child the vast majority of the time? Oh, yes. But do I also think, can it simultaneously be true that he has been so manipulated, so twisted, so desperate to please this woman who has made it impossible for him to please her, that now he has given up everything, is living in a foreign country, and now his wife had basically cut him out of this huge deal? Where does this deal leave Harry? Without much. Without much. Now, again, something could come out later. But to me, it seems like Meghan Markle, the brand, the Duchess of Sussex brand, is going off into the future, and she's leaving Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex brand, behind. And looking at Meghan, why does she even have the brand platform she does? It's because of who she married and nothing else. Again, Meghan Markle could not make it in Hollywood without Harry, and that she just denies him, I think, the opportunity, that she kind of shucks him aside as soon as it's convenient for her, as soon as he's a liability because, oh man, yeah, he really just doesn't have the stuff to really make it in Hollywood, even though she didn't either. She's like, well, let's cut out this weak link here and I'm going to go forge ahead. So I don't know when it'll happen. I'm not saying that this is going to happen imminently, but I think this is a clear sign. In addition to her debuting an entire new look in a recent video, I don't subscribe necessarily to the plastic surgery stuff just because I think the lighting was terrible, which is ironic because her father was a lighting director. Somehow she couldn't get her lighting right. They never do. But the sleeked hair, it just looked like a new look for Meghan, who's looking to strike out on her own and being very public about signing to develop the brand of Meghan, not Harry and Meghan, not even Harry, just Meghan. It's clear to me that she's looking to a future where Harry's not in it. She's looking to a future where it's not about Harry, it's about her and the kids and her monetizing off those British titles because that's all she has. To a certain extent, do I feel sorry for Harry? Yes. Do I feel sorry for their kids, their family? Yes. And again, this is just supposition. This is just my theory. So you can take it for what you will, but Harry and Meghan have always done everything together. They've made that a key part of their brand, is that they do everything together. And it's the same thing as our PDA. Once you make PDA such a huge part of your global image and then you stop doing it, rumors immediately start. And when you make everything about you doing things together, as if you cannot walk separately and he can't be away from you for longer than a period of time, for you to all of a sudden say, drop him and start creating your own brand, that's warning signs. That is flashing lights that, you know what, it just sounds like Meghan is creating her future without Harry. And honestly, it's actually within the timetable I always subscribed. I only ever gave their marriage 5 years because I just didn't think they had anything in common. I did think because they moved to the United States and they were so separated with COVID and everything, perhaps they would be together longer. I just honestly think this is a sign that it's over. And Harry's, all his sacrifice, everything he's given up has been for nothing, because at the end of the day, this was really always about Meghan and making her Hollywood dreams come true. And she says right now she's not going to go back into acting. No, she is totally going to go back into acting at some point. She's always wanted to be taken seriously as an actress, and so she will try yet again. And it'll be Harry holding up the wreckage of his life in order to please a woman who couldn't make it on her own. So she had to marry and then pretend that this was really all her achievement. So guys, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.